Hey folks, welcome back to the old homestead here at Mark Kelly Farm. We're in the kitchen. We're going to be making some supper for Kelly. She's going to be home fairly soon. We're going to do a pasta dish tonight, and we're going to use some of her freeze-dried basil. Some of you have been asking to see some meals made with some of Kelly's freeze-dried stuff, so that's what we're going to do for you. So stick around, we'll get her done. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make some homemade pasta, and I'm going to make a bunch of it. I'm going to do a double batch because we have another pasta meal coming up again in a couple days. So I'm going to go ahead and make the pasta for both. So whatever I'm doing here, you can just half it and then just make a single recipe of pasta. So we're starting off with 3 cups of semolina flour. Just make a little well in the middle here. And then you're going to go in with 4 of your eggs. We've got 4 of our really good farm fresh eggs here. And then break your eggs up a little bit. And then we're going to start stirring in some of this flour. That'll help break the eggs up as well. Get some more of that flour in there. We want some room for our next ingredients too. We have a teaspoon of salt. Okay, next thing we have is a 1/4 cup of water and a 1/4 cup of olive oil, which is 4 tablespoons of each. We're just going to dump that in here in the middle as well. Start working that in. And then once we get going really good, I have our dough scraper here when we need that. So we'll get this all combined and we'll come back, show you what that looks like. Okay, we're starting to bring in everything else. Keep that working together until it's well combined. Now we're going to get our hands in here and start kneading this. And we're going to knead this for about 10 minutes. You want it nice and smooth. If it starts getting too sticky on you, just add a little bit more flour. But this will all eventually come together. Now you don't have to have semolina flour. You can make like egg noodles with regular all-purpose flour. Lots of recipes for those on the internet. Just look one up. It's the same process though. So as you're kneading, you pick the dough up, push down with the heel of your hand, give it about a 1/4 turn, and just keep doing that. It's much easier to do on a low counter like this. You don't want to be doing this on a tall counter, otherwise it'll wear you out pretty good. Doing it on a short counter, you can just kind of put the weight of your upper body into it and you're not using a lot of muscle power. But you can see how our dough's smoothing out a little bit. I've had to add just a little touch of flour in the beginning. Don't go crazy with flour, just enough to keep it from sticking to the table. That's all you want, and just the dusting. So we got about another 2-3 minutes to go, and then we'll let this thing rest. All right, it's been about 10 minutes. We're all done. So I've got a quart-sized plastic bag here. We're just going to put it in this plastic bag. You can wrap it in cellophane if you want. But we want to put it in the bag, let it rest for 20 minutes. You don't have to worry about it rising or anything because there's no yeast in it. Got our beautiful pasta dough here. Been 20 minutes. Let's get it out of our bag. So what we want to do with this now is we're going to cut it in half. And then we're going to cut it in half again. Now if you were going to cut it in half like here, you can see how this part's smaller than that part. So what you do is stand it up that way, and it's a lot easier to see half. About like that. So we've got our 4 dough balls. So we're going to get to rolling these. So we've got our 4 dough balls. So we want a little dusting of flour out here on our board. We'll put a little dusting on our dough ball too. We want to just smash it down to where we can get it into our pasta roller here. And we've got our pasta roller set on the widest setting, which is 1. And then once we get that started in there, it'll pull it on through. Get it coming out this way. There we go. And then we'll put that in our flour again. A little more flour on the table. We'll do that with our next ball here, same thing. Get it real thin on one side, it'll start a lot easier. Okay, we're going to do all 4 of them like this. And then we'll adjust down to our next thickness and keep on going. Okay, we've got all 4 of those done, so now we're going to go through on the next level here. See how it gets twice as long there? We'll do that to the rest of them as well. So now we're going to cut our pasta in half again so it's not so long going through the machine. And then we'll take our machine down another notch and keep on going. See, our pasta is getting nice and thin. See, we almost doubled in length right there. We're going to have quite a bit of pasta. So we've got the machine on setting 5, which is the second to the thinnest it will go. It goes to 6. But we don't want to go to 6. 6 would be for like angel hair pasta or something like that. That's plenty thin right there. Okay, we've got all our sheets laid out here. We've got floured all in between them so they won't stick. I'm going to go ahead and cut them in half again. And then we're going to start making pasta. All we have to do is put our handle in the next hole over here. And that's going to be the pasta cutter that'll cut this into noodles. So we just feed it through those cutter rolls there. Then I'll grab it on this side. And there's our pasta. So like that. I'm going to put it in a little pile here. It's floured up real nice, so it's not going to stick. We'll do our next one. All right, there's half of our pasta. That's equal to about a pound of dry pasta. We'll go ahead and do these, and we'll have our 2 batches. Got our 2 piles of pasta here. Just going to get a little flour and sprinkle over our pasta. We've got it spread out so it'll dry a little bit. We'll come by every now and then and give it a little toss just to make sure it's not sticking back together. And then once it dries out a bit, we're going to use one batch, and then we'll put one of the other ones in the fridge in an airtight container. All right, we got our big pot going with some water. We put a little salt in there. I don't know about your water, but ours doesn't come seasoned. So we've got our bowl here. We're going to take our freeze-dried pesto sauce. Got them in the Mylar packages. So these are half-cup servings in here. So each one of these bricks is a half a cup. We're going to use a full brick. Make sure you don't eat that. So we're going to add just a little bit of water in here. It doesn't take much. Probably about a 1/4 cup. And then we'll get a spoon and stir that up. You can see our bricks are really brittle. They break up really easily. We're just going to rehydrate that pesto a little bit. Only put the water that you need to bring it back. I'm going to go with a little bit more, probably another 1/4 cup. Just keep breaking that up. You can see it's already beautiful pesto. The good thing about freeze drying is it keeps all of the flavor and the nutrients and all that intact. It comes out pretty much like it went in. Rehydrates very quickly. We're just breaking up the last little clumps there. And then look at that beautiful pesto. So this is freeze dried without any of the oil or the cheese in it. So that's going to be added in the pan once we get it in with the noodles. But that's as far as we need to go with this right now. This has got, I believe, walnuts and basil. We had a really bumper crop of basil this year. Okay, our water's almost to a full boil. We trimmed up some baby cabbages to cook for supper, or Brussels sprouts. I always called them baby cabbages when my kids were little because they found that a little more appealing than Brussels sprouts, and I called broccoli baby trees. But if you never cooked the fresh ones, just cut about a 1/4 inch off the bottom of them, peel the outer leaves off, and just put them to boil. Brussels sprouts is one of our absolute favorite vegetables, but we still haven't figured out how to grow them here yet. We got these were grown locally. You want to boil those about 10 minutes or so, and then drain them, and I usually just stir some butter and some kosher salt in them, and they're ready to go. Okay, I think I'm going to go and throw our pasta in. We're going to do that whole pile there. And because this is fresh pasta, it takes nowhere near as long as it does the dry pasta. This will be done literally in 3 minutes. Alright, in goes our fresh pasta. And after it goes in there, you want to give it a little stir, make sure it doesn't stick together. You don't want a big clump of pasta in there. Start the timer for 3 minutes. Okay, just like that, our pasta is done. I love these wherever pots because they have the strainer built right into the lid. And then it's got a small one on this side. So you just line those up with the pour spouts. You can turn them off if you don't want to vent, but you can strain right out of that pot. You don't need a strainer. Got our other batch of noodles separated into 2 separate containers there. We're going to put those in the fridge. Kelly's going to be gone all weekend, so I'll utilize these for a couple quick meals over the weekend. I'm thinking about doing some spicy beef and noodle, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe a chicken soup, chicken noodle soup, or beef noodles, something like that. Now, we didn't drain those completely. There's just a touch of water left in there. We're going to add probably about a good 1/4 cup of olive oil in there. And then we'll give that a toss. Look at those beautiful noodles. Just gorgeous. And then in goes the pesto. Smells wonderful. And then we're not going to add the cheese until we serve. So we'll get that pesto stirred in there. So you just want to fold it in, come up underneath like that. You don't want to stir real aggressively and tear up all your beautiful noodles. Look at that beautiful pesto. Little Parmesan cheese on here now. And we are ready to eat. Kelly's home. We're going to get after it. Well, folks, bon appetit. It's living room supper night, which is okay by me. That smells so amazing. That freeze-dried basil pesto tastes like it's literally fresh from the garden. That freeze-drying is just an amazing process. We really, really love the products we get out of there. Well, folks, that's another fantastic meal in the books. Really enjoy that pesto that Kelly made. And she said you've been wanting to see some of the stuff we use from our pantry. She doesn't think you guys believe that we use all that stuff down there, but we do. So, hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you come back real soon here on Mark Kelly Farm. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy. Love you guys. We'll see you real soon.